Thanks very much for inviting me. This is a very important topic on which you have organized this webinar. There's a lot of misconception about migration. Migration is a very important phenomenon, and in history of economic development, it has played very important role. But somehow, in Indian policy making, urbanization and migration has been somewhat neglected. And I consider that this growth of slums, distorted urbanization, and all that is a product of this lopsided policy. We always realize that rural development is good, migration is bad, and we encourage only elite migration, educated people migration. Most of us are migrants also, but we don't face these kinds of problems. So this migrants, and that is what can be better proof than this, that in the lockdown could not envisage that so many people are vulnerable people, migrant people are in our city, and they will be on the road. So it shows the just distorted nature of the urbanization and migration policy. Let me say that migrants are not homogeneous. One category migrants, highly educated and all that, all of us, I said that we are migrants. There are permanent migrants, semi-permanent migrants, long-term migrants, and circular migrants. So all kinds of migrants. The current story about migrants, and probably in the minds of the organizer also, it is the category of vulnerable migrants, and they are vulnerable. They are mostly in informal sector of the urban economy or semi-urban economy. So we are mostly talking about those people. In our country, data on migration is not reliable. That is why there is so much hue and cry about how many people are migrating. We don't know much. But census data captures permanent long-term migration, but it doesn't capture circular short-term seasonal migration. NSS is also imperfect, so that is why we don't have very reliable, but nevertheless estimates, and estimates are that somewhat 110 million economists have done it, some economists who work on migration. Around 110 million long-term and short-term circulatory migrants are there, and they are mostly vulnerable. And UP and Bihar account for almost 50% of all these migrants. UP has largest number because its population is quite large. It is almost double than Bihar, but incidence of migration, intensity of migration is more in Bihar compared to UP. So Bihar almost the intensity is much more in North Bihar compared to South Bihar, and UP it is mostly Eastern UP, Bundelkhand, as well as somewhat in Central UP region. Let me, since I told you that there is not much clarity about much about migration in general, and a lot of conceptions or misconceptions are there. Talk about nature of migration in Bihar. I have been doing village studies in Bihar of 12 representative villages for the last almost 40 years. First I did when I was a young lecturer in Patna in 1981. Then we revisited those villages in 1998. Then we went there in 2009. And as recently as 2016-17, I went there. So since I don't have much time, I won't elaborate, but let me give some salient points, and then which will help you in conceptualizing the nature of migration. So, contrary to what Mr. Nitish Kumar said, the phenomenon of migration in Bihar has been increasing considerably. And all groups of people, there are all groups, migrants are from all groups of people, all castes, all classes. Educated, non-educated, all that. But most of the migrants in Bihar are vulnerable migrants. Our estimates is that 80% of the migrants from Bihar are vulnerable. Now 60% of 65% rather, 65% of all rural households in Bihar have at least one migrant person. And if you just estimate it, roughly 2 crores of people from Bihar every year migrate. And of course, they come back also. They live in the town, and 90% of them, 90%, 95% of them are males. Females generally don't migrate. Only 5% of the households have female migrants. Earlier migrants, when we did in 1981 and all that, they were confined to mostly agricultural work. But now they are fairly widespread. Delhi, Western India, Southern India, this is the new trend that Southern India people have started migrating. And earlier from Bihar, international migration was not there, but from some parts, international migration has also started. And please mind it, an important story of this migration is that male migrate and their families, their wife and children remain in the village. So these are multi-locational households. And as I said, around 2 crores of people everywhere here migrate. You can just understand the importance of this migration. We estimated that according to our recent estimates in 2016-17, 31% of all rural incomes of Bihar is derived from remittances. And all this is, Bihar rural wages is probably higher than Gujarat. It is much higher than Odisha, much higher than Jharkhand, much higher than Bengal, only because of this massive migration. The rural labor markets have transformed, poverty has declined, and all this is behind all this story, the contribution of migration goals. So, and in this in 1980s, 90s, and as recently between 2005 and 2011-12, there was massive decline in poverty in Bihar, and this is mainly because of migration, not because of the economic growth or anything which happened in Bihar. So I think this context one has to keep in mind before devising any policy. So in this background, what kind of policies, and I estimate suggest that, and this is not true of Bihar, I'm talking about UP, but maybe 40 to 50% of the migrants have returned to their native places in this wake of this lockdown. So then, in the wake of that, what should be, and your webinar is on rehabilitation and employment. I think the government policies and government rehabilitation package which emerged, in my view, it has largely neglected the migrants. The Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, this gives cash transfer, 500 rupees to Jan Dhan Yojana account holder and all that. Migrant won't be, and otherwise also it is a very bigger amount. So I think then the, of course, the PDS, if till November they have said that it will be extended, so that will benefit them. And NREGA, 40,000 crores rupees have been given. So very small extent, migrant population will be benefited by. And recently, Prime Minister Rozgar Yojana in 118 districts have been announced to give employment to the migrant workers. I think these are, given the scale of challenge that I am talking about Bihar, but right. Nature of migration in Bihar and UP, particularly Eastern UP and Bihar are more or less similar culturally, economically, pressure of population and all that. It is same. I think first of all, I believe that the policy has to deal within two phases, one short term and one long term. Short term, there is a need of providing relief. And one relief can be easily, as I said, that this Prime Minister Garib Kalyan Yojana or Prime Minister Yojana won't do it. One is NREGA can help, but the wages, average remittance from Bihari migrant to rural areas is something around 2,500 rupees per month. Roughly, it is 28 to 30,000. It has more or less completely stopped at the moment. So this 200 NREGA wages. By the way, NREGA, Bihar is one state along with UP where NREGA has been mostly dysfunctional. Right. Per household employment has been very low and all that. So if it has to be strengthened, and that bureaucratic system is inefficient, but first of all, the wages has to rise from 300 to 200 to at least 300, and at least for 1 year. The number of days of guaranteed employment should be, in my view, 150 per household, not 100 households. So this is one. The other is this PDF would be, pardon?
Yeah, so I'm just reminding that about 1 minute is left.
Just give me 2 minutes and I'll finish.
Sure.
The other is entitlement of PDS, which should be at least for next 6 to 8 months universal. And third is some transfer of universal income, maybe 2,000 rupees per month for 6 months, because there is no now remittance is coming. In long term, just I will give the bullet points. I think all these migrants, the rural economy of Bihar and economy of UP can't absorb these migrant. They are not capable. They have to return, and the policies should be geared towards their long-term policy or medium-term policy. One is registration of migrants. Urban housing should be, now migration should feature in government policy, and urban housing should be considered a very, very important policy in the government, because migrants is just be seeing that one of the great handicap that they were facing was housing, and they live in slums and all that. So this is one. The other, and in that context, the affordable urban housing which the government has announced, I don't know, there is not much details available about that. That will go a long way. The third is entirely a skill mapping, facilitating migration. Where they should go, help them. So facilitating migration, not stopping migration, is the key to the policy. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.